right, the first thing I want to kind of just say right off is that all strategies work when it comes to stock market investing. Everybody asks me which strategy does this, which strategy does that. You want to understand that all strategies work. There are multimillionaires in every area. The day trading, dividends, ETFs, options, penny stocks. There's multimillionaires in all those areas. They're just not optimized for every person. So in other words, they're not going to work for every person, right? They're only going to work for people who's suited and who's set up for that particular type of strategy. And we're going to get into how you evaluate them all and determine what's best for your situation. And it's going to be a combination. I'm going to guarantee you that, because these are very general terms, very general groupings. And what you do is you pull out what fits for you out of the different strategies to create your own combination of strategies for your own portfolio. Okay, and that's what we're trying to walk you through here. And like I said, we'll get deeper into in each area by the course. So the first thing that you want to ask yourself when you start investing is, when will you need the money back? And I'll explain a little bit in detail here in a second, but that determines what type of strategies you're going to get into, or helps determine what type of strategy you're going to get into. So say you buy $100 worth of stock, right? This is just an example. What if that stock that you bought $100 today went up to $200 worth of stock tomorrow? What would you do with it? The first thing you have to ask yourself is, when you need this money back. Do you want it back today? Do you want to take your girl out for 100 and put the other 100 back into the stock and see what happens? Or leave it in there and see what happens? Do you want to take the total 200 out, look for another stock and reflip? Do you have some other investments that you want to use it for? So you have to determine when you will need the money back. That'll determine whether you keep it in there or take it out. Because let's say you keep it in there for 30 days. You didn't really need it the next day, or you didn't owe nobody any money, right? If you keep it in there for 30 days and it dropped down to $50, so now your $100, you missed out on doubling it, and now it's at half. Now what you're going to do, right? Once again, when will you need this money back? Was that your light bill money? Right? If your light bill is $72, you put 100 to see if you can make a little bit. You was happy when it hit 200. Now you're short. You may want to be pulling out at $50, depending on when you need this money back, right? A lot of people see this and they say, "Oh, I'm a swaggy investor," and what they'll do is hold the money in too long, because they haven't determined when they need the money back, right? So let's say you don't need it for lights, which we don't suggest you using any of your immediate bills or utilities on investing in stocks. We'll get into all that in detail later on in the course. But let's say you wait 6 months trying to ride it out. Hopefully it'll get back up to that 200. Next time it hit 200, you pull it. But it doesn't do it in 6 months. Now you're down to $25. Now you're pushing the alarm button. Now you're desperate because you needed this money for maybe a car or your investings or something like that, short-term savings. Maybe you borrowed it. Maybe you owe somebody some money or had some bills due coming up. You needed that money, and now you don't want it to go to zero. So you pull it out at 50 or you pull it out at 25, depending on when will you need this money back, right? Now, what if you don't need the money back for a while? What if it's your 6-year-old's college savings, right? Or something like that, something long term. Then you can ride it out. Then it can still be in there. You don't need that $100 in there for 2 years. You can ride it out and hit 200. But it might not hit that, hit 1,000. It might not hit that 1,000 for 5 years down the line. So you need to determine when you need that money back, how long you want to wait to get your money back or to get your gain, right? To make the gains that you expect to have. Now, this is important in multiple ways, because not only is this the first question you should ask when help determining your strategy, but this is going to be important for you to understand this about yourself, about your own situation, about each investment, about each stock, because this will help you determine when to sell. And that's one of the hardest parts. We'll get into it in detail later on, but it's a lot easier to know when to buy. Oh, this buzz, this price hasn't go up, we about to get on it and buy it. Yes, but when do you sell it? When around here do you sell it at 200 the next day? Do you sell it at 50 or 25 before it goes to zero? Or are you confident that it's going to go up to 1,000 later? One of the first questions, again, I'm going to reiterate this, is when will you need the money back? And this is different for each individual person. And so this will help you determine. That's what each individual person sells at a different time.